current, former NFL players push reform message break cycles of injustice at the voting booth. For so long, voters have paid little attention to the role and power of local prosecutors. The majority, 85%, of elected prosecutors run unopposed, giving too many candidates the ability to rely on the same old tough-on-crime platforms. But that's changing in cities across the country like Philadelphia, Orlando and Houston, where voters have elected reform-minded candidates. In Philadelphia, Larry Krasner has released the names of potentially crooked cops. Kim Ogg, elected in Harris County, which includes the city of Houston, has opted for reform instead of jail on low-level marijuana offenses and eliminated cash bail for certain offenses. Aramis Ayala has similarly pushed bail reform in Orlando. Let's build on that change, and fast. As a nation, we must expand efforts to break cycles of injustice at the voting booth, where one of the most influential people in the criminal justice system gets elected, the American prosecutor. Related content: Policing the USA, a look at race, justice, media column, NFL new national anthem kneeling policy enslaves black players, fans prosecutors, 95% of whom in the U.S. are white, are, to some degree, responsible for our country's mass incarceration epidemic. District attorneys decide what cases to charge, who gets second chances, and whether to seek a sentence that can keep someone locked up for life. In America, we lock up more people than any other country in the world, and we do this disproportionately to black and brown communities. This hasn't made us safer, but it has destroyed entire neighborhoods and cities across this country, neighborhoods where many of us come from. The ransacking of these communities has occurred with breathtaking speed, and the damage has been lasting. We can't afford to move slowly to change it. California has one of the largest prison populations in the world and in fact ranks 13th worldwide in number of incarcerated. Our organization, the Players Coalition, is among many groups nationwide encouraging voters to look closely at candidates running for district attorney. We want voters to elect prosecutors who believe in reform and who, by extension, will work to hold police accountable and protect citizens from unnecessarily brutal treatment. PICO California, for example, is a grassroots organization working to reform the criminal justice system across the state. It has organized community forums to elevate issues that local communities are facing. We decided to start in Sacramento, the city where Stephen Clark, an unarmed black man, was gunned down by police in his grandmother's backyard, and where prosecutor Anne Marie Schubert decided against charging the officers who shot and killed him. We called for a forum between candidates running for district attorney and asked the citizens of Sacramento to show up prepared to hear what each planned to do if elected. Of the two prosecutors running for office, Schubert, the incumbent, didn't show. But the community showed up in force, and they demanded answers on everything from cash bail to police brutality and the school-to-prison pipeline. Voters should know where their candidates stand. Getting honest answers from candidates is critical given the enormous influence local prosecutors wield over the criminal justice system. Their power is breathtaking and not well understood. They decide whether to recommend high cash bail that can keep people who are supposed to be presumed innocent in jail. In some instances, bail keeps people in jail who pose no public safety risk and should be allowed to go back to their jobs and their families. They can decide whether drug use is treated like a public health problem, or whether it should land someone in jail for decades. The prosecutor can be a benefactor of mercy, or a lobbyist for life in prison. This year presents an extraordinary opportunity for communities to shape the future of our justice system. There are hotly contested prosecutor races all over the country. In California alone, we're seeing them in Sacramento, Alameda and San Diego counties. We're going to be present in as many of those cities as we can. After Sacramento, we headed to Oakland. We'll travel to Boston, St. Louis County and Prince George's County, Maryland. It is imperative that voters know who is vying to be the district attorney, and it is critical these candidates understand that the privilege of representing these communities comes with the requirement that they be held accountable to them. There is nothing more important. Prosecutors have great power,
but they are accountable to us as voters. We are demanding change and letting those who want our vote know that they have to earn it. Anquan Boldin and Malcolm Jenkins are co-founders of the Players Coalition. Doug Baldwin is a leader in the coalition. Anquan Boldin is a 14-year veteran of the National Football League. Boldin won Super Bowls VI with the Baltimore Ravens. Malcolm Jenkins plays for the Philadelphia Eagles and Doug Baldwin is a wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks.